Okay, so I'm going to show the quantitative coding. So when you turn this in, you will turn in 2 documents. So the assignment, whenever it is due, whenever coding is due, will be 2 documents. So you will have a Microsoft Word document with quantitative, and then you will have another document with your qualitative. Your quantitative will be much shorter. You see that mine is only 4 pages. So remember, the quantitative data is all the questions that are multiple choice, the checkbox questions. I don't think you were allowed, back in the day, you could do sliding rating scale questions for free, but I just don't know. You can't anymore, I don't think, with any of them. So anyway, so those are the questions. So you are only putting, so this is how you kind of set it up. You should have, 40 participants, right, when you turn this in. I did not when I did this example back in the day, but you should have it. So let's just put 40 and then ignore that the numbers don't add up to 40, So I'm going to write this down so it doesn't confuse people. I actually only have 28 here as an example. Okay, so let's just say I intentionally only chose 28. Okay, so you will list all of your quantitative questions. So, when I give you an example, just make it look exactly like my example. So question 1 was age. It was multiple choice. Question 2, question 3, question 4, and then I had to skip a question because it was qualitative and it doesn't go on the sheet. Question 6 and question 7. So I said, what it was. You could put the entire question or you could just kind of summarize it. And then what format you put it in. And then you start your data in coding, and you have a little section for each question. So now you just deal with your questions one by one. So question 1. So since this is quantitative, really even for qualitative, you'll have to go back to SurveyMonkey. But you always have to click on Analyze Results. And SurveyMonkey gives you, so here's my question 1, what is your age? So SurveyMonkey already calculates your quantitative questions, so that's why the quantitative coding is going to take you like maybe 30 minutes or 45 minutes or something like that. So all you'll need to do is either copy and paste this or just refer to it and, so I put under 18, 18 to 24, 18 to 24. I did not have any, see, 0, 0, 0. I didn't have anyone older than 44 on my survey, so I just didn't put it because, it doesn't, there's no one there. So I did the answer choices, the percentages that I got, and then it also gives you the number how many. So 7 of my participants, and that ended up equaling 21.88%. And then you have your calculations and conclusions. So you have the information from SurveyMonkey, and then you have to do something. So you have to make some meaning out of this, because when you're explaining your data to someone, you are going to kind of go through these exact percentages in your methods section specifically. But if you were having a conversation and putting it in a story, you want to point out some things. So here's what I notice. I noticed that, most of my participants are right here, right? 19 or 68% are 18 to 24. But I also had 7, so I'm probably going to add these up. First of all, I'm going to point out. So calculations and conclusions are just the important observations that you make from the data of your question. So I think it's really important. I'm just going to round up. So that's the little tweak that I made. 68% of my participants are 18 to 24. Why did I put 20? Oh, yeah. Okay. Because it says. Okay, 25% of my participants are under 18. That's, also interesting, I guess. It's the second most popular answer. And then I added them. 93% of my participants are 24 or younger. That, makes a lot of sense. That has meaning, right? So just as many observations as you can make. You could even have, thoughts or ideas as your calculations and conclusions. Remember, this is just another preparatory assignment to help you write some of your future sections. So I'm going to do my second question. Question 2, year in college. Again, I'm going to go back to SurveyMonkey and either copy and paste all this information. So I have first year, 65%. Oh, that is different. Oh, I think I deleted a participant as an example. So, okay, well, let's just pretend. It used to be this much. I don't know. My percentages are weird, but basically you copy and paste and put it on this document. And so for me, I saw that, most of my participants are first year. So that's really the only interesting thing that I see from all of this. So I just rounded it up, and that was my calculation and conclusion. Maybe you might see more, but for me, I think it's important. So when I talk about my data and my results, I'm talking about a pretty young population who are in their first year, whom are in their first year of college. Okay, so one of those is correct. All right, so then I have question 3 for gender. And again, you kind of see, go back to SurveyMonkey. What are my percentages? Put them on this document. So, 50% of my participants identified as female, so I put that, but, I had a good balance, right? I mean, 46 isn't far from 50. One is 13, one is 14, so it doesn't really make too much of a difference. Okay, so some questions are a little bit trickier. I mean, those are my demographics, right? So now I'm going to question 4. I have the average. It gives me the average of 5.4, so I write that down. You can also, okay, sorry, text or WhatsApp message. So I'm going to click on responses right here because I want to see. It doesn't tell me what percentage chose 5, what percentage chose 7. It just gives me the average number, right? So I am going to actually go down and write. So it says 52, but it's really 5.2. So I just looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I wrote that on my document and I counted. I first of all, I tallied, right? So if I were really doing this, I would say there's a 5, there is a 4, but then there's another 4, so now I have 2 4s, so I'm just going to, there's 2, and this is 1, and then, so I have a 5, 4, a 4, then I have an 8.5, so I'm just going to say that's 8, so 1, then I have a 5, I have another, so you have to make tallies, right? Then I have a 7, 7 is 1, and so eventually I counted this up, so, oh, and again, it just doesn't, let's pretend, oh. Okay, so I'm counting these, so I have more, right? So I'm gonna, because I eventually have 8 5s, but I'm not gonna go through it. So I'm tallying these up. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So you had to figure out how I got these numbers as I went and I counted, I tallied them up. wonder if I could make like a little arrow. Does that make sense? There should be an actual key that's an arrow. Okay, maybe not. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, so anyway, so I look at the range because SurveyMonkey doesn't give me the range either. You might have a different kind of setup actually, because I don't think any of you had a sliding scale. But this is how you would do it if you had a sliding scale. For you, if you did multiple choice, I guess you wouldn't have to tally it up. So actually, I might not have to show you that. But you could look at your responses for the range. What was the very lowest number? So someone had a 1, actually 2 people put 1. And then the highest, there was no 10s, the highest was 9.3 in this question, how healthy are you? So I look at this, my tallies, or I guess if you did multiple choice, it would just show you, you could just automatically see that most people put that they were a 5. I guess quite a few people put they were a 7, but the mode or the most, so we have average, range, and mode, if you can remember like 5th grade math or whenever they taught us that. So, then you divide 8 into 27 was what I had, the number that I had, because I guess maybe one person didn't answer the question. So it's 29.6. And I just made this calculation that can help me out. I counted all of the ones that were higher than 5. So 12 out of 27, so less than half, put themselves higher than 5. So, so that gives me some meaning, right? So actually I'm going to delete this because no one needs it. Okay, so let's look at a more complicated question where I think I'm actually going to make 2 videos because this is just taking a really long time to explain this. Okay, so here's question 6. We skipped question 5 because it was a qualitative question, so let's skip it. So here's my checkbox question, and I had people write it in. That's what these answer choices are. They maybe didn't like any of these, or they clicked on one and they gave me an answer. I think that's what it was. Yeah, they. Or was this multiple choice? I don't know. Anyway, it was a quantitative question with responses. Okay, so so I wrote it down, right? So 15% had 8 hours, or it ended up being 17% after an extra person. So I wrote, the answer choices right here. I had, again, only 1, 2, 3, 4, because no one put less than 8 hours, or no one put less than 5 hours. So you just put the ones that you actually have participants in. And then so SurveyMonkey gives me this, right? The answer, the answer choice, the percentage, and the number of participants. And then I had to add my copy and paste on my write-in answers. And this is where we actually get to some qualitative coding. Because basically coding is you're summarizing an answer or converting it into something that makes sense, that you can find a pattern for. So, so now I have to refer to myself and ask myself, I'm trying to ask, my whole question here is, how healthy are college students and professors, right? So basically the reason that I'm asking how many hours of sleep do you usually get a night, that is because I want to know if they have healthy sleep. So I'm going to say that if you have more than 8 hours or if you have 8 hours of sleep, that's good. That's healthy. If you have more than 8, that's even better, right? So that's good. 6 to 7, I'm going to put you in the middle, a moderate category. It's not great, it's not bad. And 5 hours, just like, it's not good, right? So for myself, my opinion, you have to have your own measurement system for your participants and your responses. And then I had to code in these write-in answers. So someone put 4 to 6 hours. 4, less than 5, not good. Let's just say, let's make it consistent. Okay, so not good. I would put number 1. I would just say, let's put them in the 5-hour category. So now I have 5 participants here in my 4th category, right? And then this, so on work nights, 5 to 7, days off, plus, okay, so they're making up for the sleep they lack, which is not exactly equal to having consistently good sleep. So I'll put them as moderately good. So again, let's make this consistent. Okay, so now I have this person. Also, I said this person who varies some nights excessively, others not at all. I mean, not sleeping at all is not good, right? So that kind of puts you in the moderate category. And then so I count up my write-in responses and I add them to these categories that I have, because they weren't able to put themselves in a category. So I'm going to put themselves in a category. So I have 1, 2, 3 people that I can add to this. So it's 13 now. And I have not good 1, 2, 3. So I can add it to the not good. So it's 7 now. And then I have no one that wrote in. Is that right? Oh yeah. Yeah, no one that wrote in was good. So, but these two categories are good, so I'm going to add this to 8. So then I have, on my calculations and conclusions, I have 8 participants that are good, 13 participants that are moderate, and again, let's make this consistent, 7 participants that are not good. So I divided my number of participants into the total participants that answered these questions and got 28%, 46%, and 25%. And then calculated, basically this was the most important thing, only 28 so most people, I could have said it this way, right? I could have said most participants get moderate sleep, but my point, I want to emphasize that they are not getting good sleep, right? So I'm gonna so this really fits with me. Only 28%, it's not sufficient to get good sleep. So that's what I'm pointing out. So maybe you would want to say more things, right? But that's what I'm saying. These are my calculations and conclusions. So then we're going to go on to question 7. Main reasons that you're not healthy with food. Again, I copy and pasted, or I typed in, I guess. I don't know how you can copy and paste that. I typed in expensive, too busy, don't know how to cook. I put that on my Word document. Then I got I guess you can copy and paste here. Then I put down the percentages and the number of participants again. So there we go. But I also had some write-in answers. So you have to click on responses. And I had to type out all of these responses and then code them again, right? So my coding was kind of easy up here, right? Expensive, expensive. Too busy, busy. But don't know how to cook. I kind of re-articulated that as being confusing knowledge, because having it too complicated is kind of the same thing, right? So I'm going to also code this as confusing knowledge. So I guess it's kind of a revision in a sense of the question. So I'm going to code, so now this is one category. Lazy, don't care. I re-articulated as indifference. No self-control. I noticed that I had this right here, this category of emotions, and I felt that I could probably re-articulate this no self-control as being emotions, because it is kind of emotional, right? If I don't feel like I have good self-control, that's kind of an emotional thing. I might feel something about it. Oh, what am I doing? And then I had this eating disorder, which was kind of an outlier. So I don't know. So I might say outlier, and I might talk about this in my paper, but I just don't know what to do with it right now. So then I have to code my write-in responses, and I want to try to put them in these categories, right? You always want to try to, because these people didn't know how to respond, or they had something different, but I want to try to put them in here, or I might have to make a new category. So these people and this person, so someone said, I like to enjoy good food. I didn't really think about kind of the positive reason for not being healthy with food. So I have to add a new, and that's really why you ask for write-in responses, because you want to add a new category. So I said, okay, so love, passion, that's actually a category that I missed out on. So I have 3 people. Other food is too good. And then love food again. So this is a love, passion. So I have 3 people now for a new category. What's easy, that sounds like indifference. I can put them with the people who said they were lazy and don't care. Hormones, menstruation, okay, that kind of sounds like emotions. I could just put them, whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. That's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that in with emotions. So now I have 6 plus 9 plus 1 more in emotions. And then someone said, I don't have a problem. I'm healthy. And then 3 people said that. So my other category that I didn't initially have was none. So then I kind of try to summarize that. I do my I add in my write-ins to my initial categories. So I find that so busy was 53, knowledge confusing was 36, because remember I added it up here. Indifference 36, so you can kind of see the breakdown of it. And I'm just trying to find out the most popular answers, and the most popular answers were busy and emotions. So initially I had no self-control and emotions, but I added these 3 responses, basically these 3 different kinds of responses, into one code, because that's what you want to do. You want to reduce and replicate. Okay, so here are some calculations and conclusions. They're just all my coded conclusions. And then basically I said my observation is it seems most students are either too busy or unhealthy because of the emotional response to food, which could also be related to stress. And then quite high as well were the answers of lack of knowledge, indifference, and expensive. So, so this is just prep for for my future sections. Okay, so that's it. Those are all of my questions. And you see it's only 4 pages because I had these. So I had a lot of quantitative questions actually. So that's it. So hopefully that makes sense. You're copying and pasting, doing adjusted calculations, doing a little coding if you have any write-in / other responses, and then you're finished with this document. So I'm going to actually end the video here and then make a separate video for qualitative questions, because you might just want to watch this video and then work on this assignment if you want to get started on it. And of course, if you don't have 40 participants, like for myself, I have 32 now. It changes. But what was I going to say? So I guess you could update it. I mean, I don't know. You might want to wait until you have 40 participants so you don't have to recalculate everything. That might be kind of confusing. But yeah, you could at least like set the document up, I guess. Right? Where did it go? You could at least set it up with your name, my name, English, and date, and then the title, the number of participants, and just leave it blank. And then list out your quantitative questions. You could do that. And you could even add in your answer choices. And then this little subheading, So you could do some work on it, setting it up. Okay, so I'm going to make the other video, and yeah, hopefully this helps.